Welcome back. Today we are looking at Mayasuran Navy. Finally no energy weapons, but glorious ballistic weapons. These ships are fully brimmed to the teeth, and yes, like last time, there's like a bunch of them. But the important question is, are you ready to push back the hegemony and win this battle with these midline ships? Let's go into it. Before we get into specific ships of this mod, this will be probably a bit longer video because there's so many ships that are pretty great. So I will try to be a little bit faster, but who knows? Look at this. From here, down here, down, more, and we end around here, and most of these ships are pretty interesting. Let's get started with pretty interesting ship, and that is the Arjuna. It has this huge gas cannon. It's not like just one gas cannon, but it's 3 of them. It eats through the flux pretty fast, but it deals the punishment needed. Also, that means that with this ship you cannot put much on it, especially because the gas cannon eats through most of your flux. So I went with very interesting build here, if you can see. And the craziest are these 50 ghost fighters. They're basically large weapons which fly around you and shoot at the enemy. Everything else on the ship is cheap point defense. I even left out some of the medium slots. Yeah, 50 points to deploy. And funny part is that these, I think, nearly always randomized, so you don't know what you will get. The special ability is another of these amazing things. For some reason, insane amount of range. We're starting to fire and we should have range. Look at it. Oh my god, that's insane. As you can see, we are only firing with the gauss gun and we are already relatively hard on the flux. One thing I have learned, you have to keep distance with these things, especially these small ones, because when the target gets close, they get somewhat of a confused. Yeah, pretty amazing. Yeah, I think this build is really good. Like, I'm not even sure if it's overpowered, especially because if you get close to this thing, it will die. I do not think it's like underpowered or anything. I guess it's on the stronger side. Also, these ships usually come with special edition of the ships. Yeah, what I'm saying? I don't know. For example, this ship, yeah, that's the same thing. It has a special variant. Usually these special variants have bit different special abilities, more armor and more ordnance points, but they usually a bit slower. For example, very interesting thing is this Conquest. My favorite Vandal ship is Conquest, so yeah, big surprise. It costs still 40 points to deploy. You usually can put only energy weapons here, but now you can put ballistics. And now this is a very interesting battleship. I checked it out, it's still a capital ship, which makes this thing quite crazy. This ship costs 36 points to deploy. This one is one of my favorites. You can notice few things on the ship. It has 3 large weapons. If you use the broadside, you can fire all these 3 things at once. Beast fighters I'm just trying, so I'm not 100% sure if they are good choice for this ship. But I have chosen to use the ghost cannon on this ship because this ship is very good keeping out the range and dishing out punishment that way. Of course, one important thing, if you're using these ghost cannons and you're using the broadside, is highly advised to use advanced terrors because the other way around, the turn speed is just way too slow. 36 points to deploy, not 40. Let's see if we can keep distance from this onslaught and punish him from far away. But I must say, we are kinda countering the onslaught, so he doesn't have much chance here. Because he won't be able to get close to us and we will punish him from far away. Once we get through his armor, it will be over. And we are already starting to chipping his armor. Yeah, the special abilities increase of the damage of the fighters. So maybe bombers are not a bad idea. Yeah, it's over. Nice. Maybe it's a better idea to not use the ghost cannon. If you're using it, the ghost cannon is fine. The AI is so-and-so, so maybe swap these ghost cannons for something more mid-range. It's the next day, yes, and we're continuing. Zigaena. Firstly, I was like, what's this thing about? It has all the firepower in the front and it costs 50 points to deploy. Okay, flux dissipation, but nothing to be bragged about. There's one interesting thing I noticed very late. 50 points to deploy. Let's pull out the shields. Oh, what happened? This big ship is a face ship. Oh my god. I was super surprised when I saw it for the first time. This huge capital ship is a face ship. Ah, yes. The special ability are the regular mines. Not very effective against Onslaught because he has bunch of point defense. Yay! Nice, we got it. So if you want to play with a huge face ship, and this one is for you, is it worth it for the 50 points? I don't think so. I think Doom is good enough. It's much bigger target because of the size. So I don't think it's as good as the Doom, but it has much more firepower. But if you want a very good face ship with regular weapons, check out Shadow Yards. What about Nebulosa? It costs 38 points to deploy. One thing to be noticed, I think this ship is a bit too expensive, as if you compare it to the other ships, I think 35 points would be enough. This ship has a bunch of weapons, most noticeably, it has very strong broadside. Special ability is increased maneuverability. Oh, no, my bad, we overloaded, but he overloaded as well. We are good. Yeah, finally. As you can see, we have very strong broadside. Yup, it's done. I don't think it is as good as Conquest, especially because Conquest has much more firepower. It's around the same mobility. This ship would be good if it was around 35 points to deploy, I at least think. But if you compare it to something like Maelstrom, the 38 points is alright. But still, I think my opinion is 35 points would suit the ship much more. Alright, it changed again, and we are now looking at the Hammerheads of this mod. Firstly, the Makoran. This ship is very interesting. Most of the guys that I read comments from like this ship. What's special about this ship? It has 2 large slots and 2 fighter bays and bunch of front of firepower. This ship is faster than Conquest, however it doesn't have the 2 large missile launchers. It has more medium firepower and the 2 fighter bays. It costs 45 points to deploy. The build on the ship is mostly anti-shield damage mixed with energy damage, so we can punch through armor as well. We're sending in the fighters. We're getting through, and it's over. To be honest, I still do prefer the Conquest. Mainly because it isn't a huge difference, but 1600 flux dissipation versus 1800 is quite the difference. What would make this ship more interesting for me? It would be adding around 250 flux dissipation to the ship, and I think it will be great. Talking about Hammerheads, what about Winghead? We have the normal version and the elite version. The ship costs 30 points to deploy. This ship exchanges firepower and flux dissipation for speed. This ship is extremely mobile and can get into the combat very fast. Oh, I didn't mean to fire the Typhon Reapers. The one big energy weapon does so much for this ship. We're already getting through and we are tanking the... We can try to get around him. We're using the special ability. Yes, we're getting around. If we can flame him out, it's over. Flame out, maybe? But it's still over. It has a good amount of damage and then you fire the Reapers and it's over. This ship is very well made, I think. And I also think it's quite balanced. Because it doesn't survive that good, the flux dissipation isn't anything to be bragged about, and this ship can flank, so it's very good. I like it and it's super fun. And the last ship we are looking at today is this Eagle. 25 points to deploy. It has 1 large weapon slot and it has 2 fighter bays. The special ability is speed up, as always on these Eagles. As you can see, it's not very survivable if you put your shields down. As you expect. And now, let's go all out. Yep. But yes, I went a bit more of a glass cannon build on this ship. So you can change it around and go for the safe range build. Personally, I think it's very strong. However, I feel this is less strong, but it's more fun. And as for the other ships, you should definitely check this one as well. This mod has a bunch of crazy and very interesting variants. However, if I went through all of them, it would take like 5 hours. Oh, this one is amazing as well.
Weapons and fighters.
There are sadly not many weapons of this mod that I found interesting, so to say. The only one I found somewhat of usable is this large weapon. It is basically a Hephaestus gun, only difference is that these shots deal more damage. But what they lack in weapons, basically for me, they gain in fighters. And I must say they're quite balanced. Firstly, this 50-point artillery drone. You have seen it before in the video, and I think it's pretty insane. I do not think it's overpowered. I would have to test it much more to gain fully understanding of this fighter. I think it's decent, and of course very interesting. And then we have 2 bombers that I used most from this mod, and I usually choose these bombers over anything else. I don't find them overpowered, but very decent and fun to use. These crossbow heavy bombers, they deal quite the punishment. And these Kopech bombers, it's basically Kopech bombers but with extra 1 Kopech bomber at your service. And it has also a bunch of fighters that you can test and have fun with them. This mod is especially for people like me who enjoy their midline ships with ballistic firepower. And there's so many ships in this mod that everyone has the chance to choose something they like and enjoy. Before we end, funny fact is that we have reached already few days ago the 4,000 hours limit, and I cannot thank you enough for your support, and I'm very happy that you enjoy our videos and you joined me on this journey. And few subscribers more and we've reached the 1,000 point. I appreciate your support, and what's more important, I cannot wait to see your comments and opinions on this mod. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Ciao ciao.
Like and subscribe.